Salutations, suppressed outsiders. Automatic here for Automatic Games. Thanks for joining me for Season 1, Episode 13 of our XCOM 2 series. In our previous episode, Charlie's squad took to the field to achieve the capture of an enemy data device. And while doing so, they incurred our first battlefield death in the form of Conrad Siderson, codenamed Cider. We also picked up 3 new recruits from an abandoned colony and added their names to our growing roster. We also learned that Colonel Van Dorn intended to impose some institutional reforms upon our personnel, and we will explore those reforms in detail in this episode. But before I get to that, I want to focus on the 3 new recruits, namely Kevin Wolf, codenamed Zombie Wolf. We want to begin training of these individuals, starting with him. And while I don't know which squad he will ultimately fall in with, I think I do know which specialization field I want him to focus on. And for Zombie Wolf, that's going to be Ranger. Alpha Squad and Bravo Squad, they both have 1 vacancy to fill each. And seeing as Charlie just took a permanent casualty, they've got 2 vacancies to fill. But again, I don't know which recruits will fall in with which squads. I guess I'll make that determination in due time. But as to those changes,
now hear this. Enlisted personnel, non-commissioned officers, and junior officers are expected to report immediately to the AWC for their long overdue induction cut. Servicemen will receive a number 0, while servicewomen will have their hair trimmed at chin length and are expected to wear their hair pulled back at all times. Senior officers and squad leaders are exempt from this otherwise mandatory haircut. At 0900 hours, all combat personnel are to report to the quartermaster to receive their standard issue uniforms. Colonel Van Dorn wishes to remind everyone that they shall remain in uniform while on duty in any capacity, both aboard ship and deployed. Failure to do so will warrant a written citation. The Colonel also advises that effective immediately, all combat personnel are required to log 2 hours of daily fitness training in the Guerrilla Tactics School unless specifically exempted by a senior officer. Direct any and all questions to your immediate superiors. That is all.
So as you heard in the boatswain's call, most of these changes are cosmetic, and you're seeing them unfold on the screen before you. One of the changes is practical, and that's going to be the training regimen. I think what I'll do is unlock another tactic from the Guerrilla Training School. So yeah, these the enlisted men they're going to be wearing a navy blue uniform, and the squad leaders are going to wear a combination of navy blue and khaki. Senior officers, they get to exercise discretion as to what color uniform they wear, but yeah, time will tell if these individual soldiers respect Van Dorn's wishes or if they attempt to defy them, and what punitive measures they'll face should they choose to do so. But yeah, these are the changes as it stands. So I talked about unlocking an additional skill in the Guerrilla Tactics School, and I think that the one that I want to focus on specifically is Lightning Strike, because I feel that it would be a proper reflection of a 2-hour training regimen per day. It effectively allows all of your squad members to move 3 additional tiles in the first 2 turns after deployment, provided they remain in concealment. And so it should help a little bit in the field. Let's get back to the geoscape. What we want to do next is set course for Mexico. We want to make contact with the resistance cell there in order to gain intel as to the exact location of the black site.
Sector 8, Mexico.
After all, our next move is going to be attacking that black site and attempting to stifle progress. Oh, speaking of progress on the Avatar project, here's some now.
Commander, the aliens continue to make progress on the Avatar project. If we're going to slow them down, we'll need to move fast.
And yeah, so we've kind of ignored that far too long.
These findings will likely prove crucial to our ongoing efforts, Commander.
Well, let's have a look, Doc.
I find it unusual, to say the least, that the subject so often referred to in the past as the Thin Man has now been revealed to actually be a genetic derivative of this wholly reptilian creature.
Indeed, they were the Thin Men. They're a little uglier now. Battlefield medicine, something that we can look into once we get a proving ground. As to our next research focus, that's going to be on the Advent mech breakdown.
These robotic units, developed by Advent, seem to be wholly autonomous, capable of targeting and engaging selected units without reliance on external verification. Although it falls on me to work through the initial disassembly, I fully intend on involving Shen in this process, as her knowledge of robotics far outweighs my own.
Yeah, the more you work with Shen, perhaps the better you'll play together. So that's good.
Apparently my predecessor was something of a brute when it came to handling the interrogation and autopsy of alien subjects. From what I've heard, she was keen to get her hands dirty whenever possible.
Come on, Tygan, you don't have to badmouth Dr. Valen. Your predecessor is a hard scientist to live up to, but you should strive toward that instead of throwing her under the bus. Oh dear, so it appears that Advent is retaliating against another Resistance headquarters, this one again in the vicinity of Vancouver.
Setting course.
So we will have Alpha Squad assembled and have them move to the rescue of those individuals. So let's take a look at Alpha Squad, commanded as always by Javier Valdez, codenamed Old School. He will be putting the mag rifle to the test for this mission, and he's also taking along a flashbang. Otherwise, he's got his normal gear with him. He will be joined in the field, as is usual, by Nelson Boyd, codenamed Noisiboi, who's taking his default loadout. In addition, he is taking the Frost Bomb. And then, of course, Manny Fawcett, codenamed Manny Faces, who's taking along a mag pistol, in addition to his default kit. Dan Richards will be taking to the field with Alpha Squad, thus completing his tour of the 3 squads. He will be taking a mag rifle as well, and otherwise he'll be taking his normal gear. Then of course there is Sandra Barron, codenamed Snuggs. She is taking her typical loadout. And finally, last of all, there is Karl Hamm, codenamed Lead. The squad medic will be taking the med kit, and of course he is taking the bolt caster. So as you can see, Alpha Squad, they're all decked out in the gear that Van Dorn wants them to wear. They're all helmeted, much to their chagrin. And yeah, there you go. Alpha, you may board when ready. For the record, they are none too pleased being forced to wear all this gear.
Sky Ranger to
Menace, ready to deploy.
Copy that, Firebrand. Begin your descent.
Remote reconnaissance picked up heavy comms traffic from alien forces moving to attack a resistance outpost in this region. And we're the only ones with any chance of stopping them. We're heading in to lock down the area. Neutralize all hostile contacts with extreme prejudice.
Wait, what's this? Manny, where's your helmet? Snuggs, you took off most of your sleeves, and where's your helmet? Lead, you yanked off the arms of your uniform. You guys brought along your do-rags? Meanwhile, Nelson Boyd, he took off parts of his sleeves, and he's regretting not bringing along his normal hat. He didn't realize that, Lead and Snuggs just brought their do-rags. And you know what? Valdez doesn't give a damn. He really doesn't care. Alpha Squad is boots on the ground. And that's the thing about Valdez. He's totally supportive of well-thought-out safety regulations, but he feels that his soldiers have earned the right to wear what they want in the field. And so while they were on deck, he had them wear their entire uniform. As soon as they got on that Sky Ranger, he said, "Look, if any of this is uncomfortable, take it off." Oh dear, it's a muton.
These mutons seem a little more agile than the ones we've fought in the past. It looks like they're still serving as the aliens' front line, though.
Noisiboi, he's got the solution to newly revealed enemies.
For surprise!
It's called the Frost Bomb. Freeze that thing in place and give us a chance to put it down before it can do any damage. So yeah, obviously that's 2 on the grid, 1 Muton, and 1 Stun Lancer. Snuggs is going to run up and get this civilian out of here.
You're safe. Now get out of here.
She is also going to deploy heavy ordnance on the Muton, Stun Lancer, and their respective cover. Well done. And so, let's see. Let's go ahead and have Manny take a shot now that the cover is gone. And it's good. Stun Lancer is down. We'll have Old School advance.
Good copy. Moving on target.
And he's going to try out this Rupture. He's going to try it out on the Muton.
Ready to go around!
Wow, it takes up 3 ammo. Nonetheless, it takes down the enemy threat.
I'm busted.
Lead is telling Boot to come with him. They'll move ahead on the right here. And so Boot complies.
10-4.
And I must say that Boot is happy to not be deployed with Charlie Squad any longer. Oh dear. We are taking civilian casualties further down range. But yeah, Richard's experience with Charlie Squad wasn't necessarily great. He kind of joins the course in terms of being critical of Corky and Charlie's methods. As to Boot's first impressions of Alpha Squad, he likes them well enough. He was a little put off when Valdez had everybody take hands and join in prayer before embarking on this mission. Full disclosure, Boot has some contempt for people with strong religious convictions. And Valdez definitely has strong religious convictions. But is that Valdez's problem, or is it Boot's problem? I'll leave it to the viewer to decide. And certainly, according to his file, Valdez is a very spiritual man. He is, after all, the chaplain for the XCOM forces. Of the 3 squad leaders, he has the most bluster. He's most prone to give a lengthy speech. And he likes to say Godspeed.
Closing on target position.
Boot is going to move ahead and effect the rescue of this civilian.
Advent forces on the ground.
Okay, we've got 3 on the grid. 1 Advent officer, 2 Stun Lancers. And the squad opens up, starting with Noisy. Who scores a hit? Valdez fires and misses. Manny takes aim at the Advent officer and hits.
I got nothing.
The result, 1 Stun Lancer is dead in the field. The Advent officer is gravely wounded. We have 2 on the grid. Boot is going to deploy a grenade in an attempt to finish off that officer, which he easily accomplishes. As to Lead, he is going to reload and go into Overwatch, anticipating that this Stun Lancer will advance. Meanwhile, this civilian is transforming into one of the Faceless. So we have 2 on the grid, a Stun Lancer, and another one of these monstrosities. And in terms of how Lead feels about Valdez, Lead is rather spiritual himself, so he doesn't fault Valdez for anything like that. Sometimes he thinks the speech has missed the mark and he finds that humorous. Okay, Snuggs opens up on the Stun Lancer, does good damage, Lead takes aim, and finishes the job.
Got him.
And now the Faceless is approaching. He is using both moves though, and therefore will be unable to attack. He's moved in towards Boot's position. And though he's unable to attack, he menacingly points at Boot. Let's see. Lead is gonna once again reload, and he's gonna put fire on that damn creature. And he does superb damage, enough so that perhaps Boot can finish the thing off. Which he does, no problem. And so the Faceless is dead. Noisiboi. As to how he feels about Squad Leader, Noisy is slightly spiritual, but moreover, he tends to like Valdez's speeches, especially when they hit the mark. Doesn't really make fun of them when they miss the mark, but Noisy's pragmatic. He knows when a speech doesn't work. But nevertheless, he doesn't fault Valdez too harshly for that. I mean, bear in mind, all of these guys and gal, they all believe that they are the best squad that XCOM has to offer. Got more gunfire downrange and another dead civilian.
We're losing civilians left and right, Commander. We need to get these people out of here.
Indeed. Okay. So yeah, we did lose a few seconds there. Essentially all you missed was Lead moving forward and Boot moving forward. No shots were fired. Now we've got 3 on the grid. 1 Viper, 1 Stun Lancer, 1 Trooper. And the squad opens up. Viper is wounded. Stun Lancer is wounded. Stun Lancer is severely wounded. Manny takes aim at the Viper. And he puts it down. So that leaves an injured Stun Lancer and an unscathed Trooper. The Stun Lancer is withdrawing, as he should, but he is unfortunately turning his attention to the civilian population. The Trooper's doing the opposite. He's advancing. Valdez opens fire. It's a miss. The Trooper takes cover and returns fire and hits Valdez. So Squad Leader is wounded. Let's see, we will have Snuggs. She's going to go ahead and maneuver behind this statue. It offers better protection. And she's going to take a shot at the Trooper, that is. In fact, she'll go heavy ordnance on him. Hold on here. Yeah. She'll go ahead and deploy a grenade. And that'll kill the Trooper, no question about it. And as to her and Manny's impression of their squad leader, they're not as spiritual, and so sometimes they think he's a bit bizarre. Their biggest issue with him is he accuses them of being together, and he forbids fraternization between his squad members. So if they are together, they do a good job of covering it up or keeping it low-key. But if they do have feelings for each other, they shouldn't have to do that. But nonetheless, chalk it up to his spirituality or just military doctrine. Valdez does not approve. And so that would be a point of contention. But it's not a deal breaker. And they still respect the guy, although they get a little bit of humor out of him, especially when he's going on a tangent and or giving a speech, and it's kind of off, not too inspiring. And even Lead will admit when Valdez is basically doing something that's more humorous than it is inspirational. But there you have it, pretty much the dynamics. Now Noisy is opening up on the stun Lancer. It's at a great distance, but Noisy hits his mark. The stun Lancer is down. Oh, and yet another civilian is transforming into one of these faceless creatures, who, for the record, do have faces. The monster is approaching. Boot opens up on him and scores a hit, a good hit. The thing is moving in, it's closest to Snuggs, and in fact, yeah, it seems to be going after Snuggs. But it has expended both moves, and so it cannot attack this round. That, obviously is altogether fortunate. So let's see, we've got to make a move against this thing. We're going to have Noisy go ahead and reload. And then he's going to try to cut this monster down.
Back online!
And it is certainly good damage, just one shy of killing the beast. In fact, let's have Snuggs deal with it herself. She's going to go ahead and reposition so that monster doesn't fall on her. And then she is going to attempt to finish off the Faceless. Which she does. Excellent.
Target down.
So there's none on the grid.
I'm running low on ammo.
Menace 1-5, status confirmed. We're not picking up any additional contacts. The AO is clear.
And that's why it's all over. You know, I talked about the dynamics of Alpha Squad. The bottom line is they all do like their squad leader. His caution kind of speaks to how compassionate he is toward them. And I would propose that he has said this to them before. By nature of them being designated Alpha Squad, they are first in the eyes of God. By being the first squad to be fielded in an anti-Advent mission, they are first in the mind of Colonel Van Dorn. By nature of being the good men and women that they are, and the capable combatants that they are first in the heart of their squad leader. Sounds cheesy, sounds lovey-dovey, but hey, that's what Valdez is good at.
I'm glad to see our new recruits aren't hesitating when it comes to taking out the aliens.
Okay, so only Valdez is injured. He's probably targeted because he's the only one wearing khaki. Let's dole out promotions. For Snuggs, she gets to choose between demolition or suppression. Demolition allows her to shoot at and destroy an enemy's cover, but she can affect that with a hand grenade. So she's going to go with suppression. I'd probably choose the same for any heavy. Next up is Lead. Lead gets to choose, well, obviously, he's going to pick Revival Protocol to further his skills as squad medic. Next, of course, is Valdez, who will be wounded for, what does that say, 8 days? Anyhow, he gets to choose between Conceal or Run and Gun. Conceal allows him to go back into concealment. Run and Gun allows him to move to the full extent and still fire. And he's going to choose that. It just sounds like a good tactical skill to have. Next, of course, is Noisy. And he's going to be faced with the same decision, demolition or suppression. He's going to go with suppression, the ability to fix an enemy in place due to suppression fire. Not that the enemy will always cooperate with that, but between the two, that's the one I would pick. And for Boot, well, he's going to go for Haywire Protocol because he's not a medic, he is a hacker. And he really did appreciate his time with Alpha in the field. Well done, Alpha. Well done indeed. Let's take a look at their material gains. An extended magazine, which adds one more round to their magazines. And a lot of bodies, including 2 faceless corpses, which is nice. It'll allow us to get the Mimic beacon out. and a muton corpse, which would be a new autopsy for us.
You and your crew have dealt another serious blow to the aliens' efforts today, Commander. Impressive work.
Thank you, Mr. Spokesman. I can't help but concur. That mission was like clockwork. It's a shame Valdez was wounded again. We're going to chalk it up to his wearing khaki, where everybody else was wearing navy. In fact, Bravo Squad's on deck to go out next, and Weasel, he's basically lobbying for Colonel Van Dorn to allow him to dress the way the rest of his squad dresses so that he doesn't stick out like a sore thumb on the battlefield. Hey, I believe Van Dorn would hear that out and consent. Back to the geoscape. So we have an opportunity to pick up some more supplies, but, you know, everything else is secondary at this point. We are going to Mexico. And we are going to make contact and investigate, or rather infiltrate, this black site. And that'll bring us to the season finale. So here we are in Mexico. Hola.
New objective added.
And yeah, we're ready to move.
Commander, we've established contact with the local resistance, and we can move on the Advent Black site on your order. We should make sure our troops are fully equipped and ready for a tough mission. I'm guessing security will be tight at the facility. I'm keeping tabs on all our operations, Commander. Our people are standing by for your orders.
Great. And that the next episode will be the season finale, as I said.
Regional contacts located.
And I have every reason to suspect it's going to be a long episode, but I do hope you'll join me for it. Bravo Squad will be undertaking the mission, and Van Dorn will be commanding them personally in the field. That'll be a first. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But I thank you not just for tuning in for this episode, but for the entire season leading up to this point. In the next episode, we will explore the dynamics of Bravo Squad, much as we have the other two squads. But anyways, yeah, I appreciate you watching. This is Automatic for Automatic Games, and if you like this, like this. And as always, if you are subscribed, I will talk to you soon, friends.